As you know, there was that whole weird GIM restriction thing because 416 Hero is not part of the original team and was added later. However, recently I made the realization that that restriction was only over an initial 5-week period. What this means is 416 Hero now has unrestricted access to any items in the game. Of course, level requirements still hold true, but at 89 range, we can now equip a twisted bow. Wow, this level crept up on me. 92 farming, halfway to 99, as you know. We finally made it back to the Dagannoth Kings. It is the weekend, so I did have to hop a few worlds, but let's hop in. Actually, before we do that, pot chair, of course. Let's get in there. Nice and easy. Oh, I didn't even have my Necklace of Anguish on. Let's get in there with 416 Hero. And we're set up. So, like I said before, even if we don't get the rings within this task, we're going to continue off task until we do. I've got some big things planned after this, so I want to get this done as soon as we can. Besides, hunting for the Dagannoth task has drawn out longer than I expected, and I'm ready to move on. First item on the table this trip, another Dragon Axe. For this trip, I decided to bring a Sanguinesti staff on wait for it so that I can heal up. This is because I traded over the Saradomin Godsword to 416 Hero. And now, after that Supreme kill, 416 Hero is on the board for at least 1 KC in the trip. I was actually praying the wrong thing against Supreme, and now I'm low HP and out of food, so hopefully some food drops soon. Alright, I got the SGS spec up, please hit big, and we hit 0. That's not what you want to see. I'm 10 HP, no food. I did drop a Karam one. Over here, I'm going to rush to get it. We're still alive for now. No! I'm not sure why I was taking so much damage there. And on top of that, I don't know why the spawn times are so close together between the Supreme and the Prime. And of course, the game trolls me by giving me a food drop immediately after I die. I think what I'm going to try to do is get back on 416 Hero without leaving on wait for it. Okay, yeah, the game is really trolling now. Another shark drop. Okay, I was able to have somebody help me open the gate and do the Rune Throne Axe spec as well to get the door supports down. All I have to do is make sure I enter the room at the right time. Otherwise, I could just waste a whole lot of time and die again. I am naked right now, so I don't have any defense as is. Never mind the 50 defense. Look, I'm getting shredded by these Dagannoths. Okay, we have made it back. Grabbing our stuff. But yeah, I guess the silver lining is this is kind of a resupply run. And now we can stay here longer. Okay, you can't make this up. I just died on my maxed account. So I'm going to have to stand out here and wait for it to return. Because I'm not going to be able to solo Dagannoth Kings on that account. Much less juggle it while running back on the other account. Honestly, I'm not sure what's going on. I haven't had this issue before on the previous, I don't know, 3-4 trips that I've doloed. No way. You can't make this up. I was trying to pick up my stuff off the ground, off the gravestone, and I was flicking for my life, all 3 Dagannoth Kings. And then all of a sudden, in my house, there's just a whole lot of yapping going on. It was really hard to focus, and I died again. Truly tragic. Okay, attempt number 2. Half the food I brought in is already gone from just running through the tunnels. This is unfortunate. That is not where my gear is. I need to go for my gear first, which is all the way on the other side. I think right now the positionings of the Kings are actually a little humble. They haven't seen me yet. Yeah, this is very humble. Much better than the first time around. Let's just grab all our stuff. Okay. Let's go ahead and get rid of Rex. I want to say we have things under control now, but I don't want to speak too soon. Our inventory is an absolute mess. Okay, let's... Oh! Well, scuff equals stuff. Let's go. Huge. Okay. Picked up the ring. Let's pick up our gear and our loot. Where's my quiver? Oh, I have it on. I just needed to equip the ammo. Okay. As soon as I kill Prime here, I'm going to enter with 416 hero. Okay. The inventory is a mess, but here we go. And after this, we have about a 20-second window to try and organize things as best as we can. I'm gonna drop some food. Let's take this prayer pot. Let's get 416 hero in a safe position and ready for Rex. Those things won't despawn. It'll be fine. I can pick those up later. Let's just try to stay in rotation here and organize our inventory. Pot share some prayer because we're low. I'm actually gonna have to drop some prayer pots over from 416 hero to wait for it. All right, everything is fine now. We have the Berserker ring. Perfect example of scuff equals stuff right there. Okay, at the very least now, I've offsetted the Dagannoth Kings to some extent. Our inventory is a little bit better organized, at least with our weapons and gear. Dagannoth Kings is definitely one of the places where everything is fine and it's easy until it isn't. So it should be to nobody's surprise, but to be honest, the deaths were mostly my own doing. I haven't been too disciplined on where I'm positioning my accounts, and as you saw just right there, Supreme was up, but he was out of range while I was dealing with Prime. Beforehand, I've been standing mostly next to the ladder, but that's honestly a bad position because when you stand here in this area, you're more than likely going to receive aggro from both of them. Now, if I was here on just one account, I could very easily manage to flick them both, but clearly with two accounts here, that is a different story. In a rush to get back here as soon as possible, I brought some anglerfish on wait for it. Right now, they're in 416 Hero's inventory, and for 416 Hero, using these isn't actually that optimal. They only heal me for about 17 each. But hey, food is food, and I desperately need to just safe up right now with the anglers. Hopefully we get a food drop soon. Over on wait for it, honestly, the Sanguinesi staff has been holding me over. Perhaps in me saying that, I might have just cursed it, because now I'm 19 health and I desperately need some Sang procs right now. Please. No? I guess not. Oh, 7 HP. Better than nothing. I'm once again completely out of food on both accounts, so this could get risky. I'm down to 12 HP on 416 hero. I might have to get out of here. Save myself the pain of having to run back here just to get my stuff. I'm going to pick up these prayer pots and TP out on 416 hero. Before I teleport out on wait for it as well, let's finish off Supreme. And maybe, just maybe, we'll get an archer's ring before we head out. And nope. Okay, we are recollecting ourselves at the Warriors Guild. And this is the perfect time to trade over the Berserker ring. Just put it on, and this is absolutely massive for the account. Definitely gives us a new max hit on any setup. So midway through this Dagannoth Kings grind, I realized that 416 hero was able to use the Sayer Dome and Godsword, despite us obviously never having gone to any of the God Wars dungeon bosses. And this was confusing to me because, you know, there was that whole weird GIM restriction thing because 416 hero is not part of the original team and was added later. However, recently I made the realization that that restriction was only over an initial 5-week period. What this means is 416 hero now has unrestricted access to any items in the game. Of course, level requirements still hold true, but at 89 range, we can now equip a twisted bow. With that being said, things are going to get real wacky from this point on. But like I said in the past, I'm going to try to balance some sense of progression, as well as just giving myself things when I want to. However, I have big plans for suddenly having the ability to use these mega rares. For right now though, our goal is to still complete these rings. Right now we are 1 out of 3, so we finally made some progress. Now we just need the archers and the seers ring. I'm just taking a bit of a breather right now before we go back in, but it's, if it wasn't obvious, doloing Dagannoth Kings actually just makes it more complicated than if I was to solo on Wait For It. But at least when I dolo and bring 416 Hero with me, it feels like I'm somewhat earning it on 416 Hero, and perhaps the trips are a little bit longer too. I just made the realization that I don't need Rune Throne Axes if I just put Wait For It into this room by going down the ladder and then just meleeing the door support. Except I forgot the fact that these doors need 2 people to go through, so not that smart actually, never mind. Or maybe I just opened the door from the other side. Okay, so between the trips, I made it a point to make the adjustment to swap onto the Ancient Spellbook on 416 Hero. This is so that I can ice, or Blood Blitz to heal up. So despite having the Berserker ring that we need now, I'm going to go ahead and continue fighting Dagannoth Rex anyways. Just because, you know, there's just downtime. What are we going to do? Just stand there and do nothing, you know? Might as well. No shot. Another Berserker ring. That's not what we need, but we'll take it. It's like 5 mil. In a twist of fate, I have more food than I can hold now on this trip. Just got a dupe circle, so 1 for each account, I guess. Unfortunately, with this Rex KC, we are now off task. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stay here as long as I can until I run out of supplies, and then afterwards, I'm going to put on the max cape and see if I can get the back-to-back Slayer proc. If we don't get it, oh well, we'll just come back without the task, but it's worth a shot. I know we've gone 2 Berserker rings now, but I can't believe I haven't got a Seers ring. We're very lucky on Berserker rings right now and very dry on the Seers ring. Over on Wait For It, in 389 Prime KC, plus whatever 416 Hero might have, which is probably less than 10, we only have 1 Seers ring. Ooh, we were able to snag 25 KC of Dagannoth Supreme on 416 Hero, which means a hard combat task. Dagannoth Supreme Adept completed. Nice. Bit more CA points there. Ooh, we actually get a collection log on 416 Hero. Unfortunately, it's a Dragon Axe. I decided to end that trip with just 2 prayer doses remaining. Now let's see if we can proc the back-to-back. Unfortunately not. 193 cal fights. You know what? This is a task I would typically skip anyways. So, now that one I'm not skipping. 16 Black Dragons. Now part of me wants to say, hey, I can knock that out super quickly and pick up another task, but that's just going to go down a rabbit hole, and before you know it, I'm just going to be doing Slayer for like the next 3 days again. 416 Hero is already there and waiting. We just have to run in, fully supplied now, and set up the room. The rotation is a little different right now. Looks like we're doing Rex into Supreme into Prime, whereas previously we've been doing it the complete other direction. We're getting food drops nice and early in the trip, which is actually a little unfortunate because playing on 2 accounts, I'm not really going to spend that mental energy to juggle food. Playing on 2 accounts PVMing at once is hard enough in itself. Actually, I'm going to purposely wait for Prime to respawn and then fight Prime first before Supreme. I think it's just safer that way. Having been here for literal hours in one sitting. Oh, I don't have pre-melee on. But yeah, having been here for quite some time now, I like to compare this to God Wars dungeons, and there goes another Dragon Axe. Unfortunate. That was from Rex anyways, and it's not like we needed a 3rd Berserker ring at this point, so I guess that's not the worst. But yeah, I'd like to make the comparison of Dagannoth Kings to God Wars dungeon bosses. Having to sit around and wait for the boss to respawn is just really boring. I really wouldn't be a fresh new solo Iron Man at this point, having to stand on this yellow marked tile over here in the corner of the room and just safe spotting Rex and waiting for it to respawn. I think at this point the novelty of doloing Dagannoth Kings has worn itself out. I'm kind of over it at this point. In my mind, I thought this was going to be a relatively quick grind, especially having gone through all these endgame grinds that literally take months on end, right? So I guess with the expectation that I thought this would be quick, this now feels like it's dragging on. Hopefully, we get a little lucky soon. And not from Rex again. We don't need any more luck at Rex. Part of the whole Dolo Trust Fund GIM gimmick was that if I wasn't enjoying a grind, I would just be able to give myself stuff. But this is one of the exceptions. I need these rings. I don't have dupes. It's tragic. No, not like this. A dragon axe from Prime. Second one of the trip. This trip is really something else right now. I have a crystal key and 2 loop halves on wait for it. And over on 416 Hero, I have a crystal key as well. Oof, we get a Farseer helm. Oh, and looks like we're making the third on wait for it, but 4th overall between the 2 accounts. 4 crystal keys. No! Why? And that concludes the second trip. No death shenanigans this time around. We got yet another Berserker ring. The 3rd one so far. Well, I can say I got 3 rings, but unfortunately, it's 3 of the same ones. Just gained a Slayer level off an EXP lamp. Nice. 59 Slayer. Time to get set up for yet another trip. Surely this will work out. Oh my, I was praying melee. I must have misclicked. And of course I have to die on the account that takes 10 years to get to Dagannoth Kings. I'm still standing here in the Lumbridge basement while I'm currently soloing on wait for it. And I'm not gonna lie, I really don't want to make the effort to go back on this account. The thing about it is not only do I have to do the long run through, but I need to teleport out with the other account to escort it through as well. So essentially, I'd be making multiple trips just to get set up again. The mental just can't handle it. I'm collecting from the gravestone. How much is this going to cost me? Oh, 300k? Okay. That's fine with me, 300k. So with that having happened, I guess I'm going to be soloing on this account now. I think ironically soloing the Dagannoth Kings is a little bit more engaging because I'm actually flicking my prayers. Another circle, that is the 3rd one. Seems like Prime and Supreme are dropping everything but the rings. Well, if I'm not going back to the Dagannoth Kings on 416 Hero, I might as well try to make some gains elsewhere. But back at Dagannoth Kings, we just hit 500 Rex KC. Although Rex is completely irrelevant to us at this point in time. Maybe if it gives us a pet, I don't know. And there goes another Dragon Axe, this time from Prime. I guess another thing to add is that without making 416 Hero, I never would have came back to Dagannoth Kings anyways. Pet hunting isn't something that particularly interests me, so I definitely wouldn't have came back. But now that I'm here, at least I get to experience using max gear to kill Dagannoth Kings. I said I wouldn't go after a new Slayer task, but let's just see what happens, yeah? Nope, not doing trolls. Necrils? That's a big task. We're not doing Slayer to pick up another task. We're just going to sit on that Necrils task for a bit. We're going back to the Dagannoth Kings. This time, we're a little bit more optimized when it comes to our gear setup and inventory. We are now on the Arceus spellbook, so that we can use Thralls and Death Charge. I've brought the Ceridome and Godsword back over from 416 Hero to this account, and we're bringing Dragon Claws whenever we can use them. In classic fashion, I made my way to the Dagannoth Kings, and I forgot something. My Book of the Dead, so I can't even summon Thralls right now. At least I can still use Death Charge though. I've lost track of how many dragon axes there's been. Oh my, right after the dragon axe, it happened. We got our Sears ring. Yes. I don't even have inventory space for this. What's crazy is that's only our second ever Sears ring. Now we only need the archer's ring. This is a little while later after pulling that Sears ring. I'm now back for another trip to hopefully get the archer's ring on this next trip. Over on 416 Hero, we're still at the Ammonite crabs, except now I've swapped over to some strength training. This time around, I remembered to bring my Book of the Dead. However, there's always something. I forgot death runes. So there's no death charge for us this time around. This is why bank tag layouts and inventory setup plugins are so useful. I haven't had one set up for Dagannoth Kings. No way we get another Sears ring. Honestly, that is due, so I can't be too mad about that. But that's not the ring we're looking for. Are these things even clip worthy anymore? I don't know. Another dragon axe. That was from Supreme too, which we need the ring roll for specifically, the archer's ring. Huh. This is like my, what, 4th Seer call now? I make note of that because up until coming back with 416 here to Dolo Dagannoth Kings, I apparently never had one beforehand, and now we have like 4, so what a turn of events. Heading back for another trip right now. This time around, I decided to bring my Torva top and legs. And yes, I don't have death runes for death charge, but this time it was on purpose. I decided that I'm not going to need death charge. The light bearer I'm wearing is more than enough. This was actually the freest entry into the DK's room. I didn't even have to flick Supreme and Prime. Although Rex has now creeped his way all the way over here though, so I'm going to have to flick this. The Echo Boots are a really nice contrast to the Blood Torva. Check it out. Hopefully I remember to fit this into the clip, but I didn't get it on OBS, but I do have Shadow Play, which clips, you know, the previous couple of minutes. And I just hit a max scythe swing. And there goes another dragon axe. There it is, an archer's ring. We are done. Let's go. I need to clear up some room, pick up the bass, or eat the bass, pick up the ring, and let's get out of here. We are done. 416 Hero is currently Ammonite crab training away right now. So I'll hand over the last ring, the archer's ring, a little bit later. But yes, we are done. Obviously, there are a lot of things we can work on, but I have some big things coming up. Some big goals that hopefully we can achieve. There's no guarantee, but we will just have to see.